If you could get stuck somewhere, it would mean that you weren't able to leave a room. I've had this feeling, and it's psychedelic because I've been dizzy when this was occurring. One time when I was chewing a leaf inside of my lip, I felt a accentuated notion when I was scared of a door. I know this is really poetic, but there's nothing fanciful about being stuck in a room, especially if it's the size of a closet and you're behind steel. This is why I'm scared to get stuck in a suitcase and or a underwater scenario where you're stuck, or inside of a waking up coffin underground. What on earth would you do then? First off, a giant thank you to any Christian American that knows that Jesus died, because when he did, he goes from hell and then he was resurrected on the third day, appeared in heaven. So by going down, he ostensibly was in wherever heaven is. And so whatever what heaven is this earth, because by God's will be done. And so on earth as in heaven. Timelessness. He ended up in hell 3 days later, up next to God on his right hand side. What this means specifically is that through him and in him, when they say that, means the following can occur. For me, the miracles of knowing that there was a bomb that happened called in from a different country and everyone evacuated where I just left earlier today. The second thing is that this car is lit because it's a two-tone. Having a two-tone means I learned two things today, specifically when you're washing something, I don't know, I just lost concentration super majority wise. So, between ice and plastic can look really tough if it's bright outside and it's shining really hard. With that being said, straight off that fucking tree, dude. You need this to be a bit further. You're going ham as a motherfucker. Sketching, and if you freehand, you do really light details until you want to finalize things. Like make the picture come to life. And this is in accordance with how much a strobe is. And there you can't see it, but off camera you can see a red twinkle. And the difference between a star and a red twinkle at a really far distance, convoluted and diluted with other lighting, is that you know that one's on the ground and one's above your head. So the one on the ground is clearly not a star. But if you had vertigo and you're passing out because you have bad digestion, this was happening to me like 3 times today, I'm not prepared, malnourished, then you might have vertigo and not know the difference between on the ground and above in the air if you have vertigo. And this is what occurrence is in DNA. If you have DNA, it can be like either, I think 3 different types are important and are significant to how drawing is, because you can finish a drawing in different ways. Shading, line work, and coloring. But for DNA, the most important ones are probably the DNA that works well together the best. This can be your best 2 arteries, or whatever thing is most in synchronicity with your body autonomy. For everyone, it can be different because everyone's DNA works differently, other than just it being different. Now can you see the twinkles? One's a cop, but you can't tell because it's so diluted by other light. The other DNA, 2 other ways, is making on your face the most identifiable one. So your most identifiable thing of your DNA on your probably face or other body parts would be different for everyone. This versus a picture is definitely different because you can have motion blurs with your body if you're running really fast, so you might not even be able to see. Or if it's getting hit really hard, then your body is deformed for a split second. The third one would be the one that's most prevalent. Where in your body is it most concentrated and rich with DNA? And then that might be a third way of defining DNA being the most you of your own identification. This, when drawing, can seem similar though different, like a star or a cop car. A star or a cop car in the air on the ground is just like a drawing of you versus you when you're getting back. TV show host with TV cameras over my right shoulder, and they didn't want to talk. So the difference between landscaping and doing carpenter work is making a shelf complete or making a sidewalk gutter clean. In the Bible, when it says God or Jesus will come back to judge the living and the dead, it means he's going to descend from the throne where he's currently at with God onto planet Earth. And so it will be when he came back to life on the third day, rose again, he was descending the whole time into hell. And so then at the end in Armageddon, he's going to descend from heaven onto earth. And so if you look at this distinction, he was 33 and then he descended, died, and then was born again. And then at the end of time, essentially, will he only be 33? Will Jesus only be 33 when he descends in Armageddon? This is a rapture where Christians go up and he goes down, meaning the earth will be like a place that he's landing on. But what does that mean if the sun engulfs it in 2 billion or 3 billion years? The star is supposed to explode, and when it does that, it grows really big into a red giant, and then all the oceans will boil over. Is this a second coming of Christ? And if so, it's a descent from when he first left on the cross and went into hell. So this big, like, going down in a straight line in his time persona of 3 days where he was 33 and went to hell, time stops when he got into heaven. He's like Peter Pan in heaven. Jesus is when he came back from hell because God got him out of hell. On the third day he rose again onto earth, and then from earth he spent a few days doing some appearances. So that time on earth he like aged from age 33 3 days. We don't know his birthday, but he only spent a handful of days on earth after he died and rose again, and then went into heaven. When he went into heaven, time, I think, for him stopped, and that's why Adam and Eve are so interesting, because they're at the start of time. But then Jesus, when he comes back, will be the end of time, and he'll only be 33, supposedly. I'd say so. That's fucking sick. Okay, so how much energy is in an electron flow? And electrons are important because they're the cream of the crop when it comes to quantum numbers. An electron can look at fire in its rawest form because it's free flowing and it's achieving something fantastic energy that is going really quickly. So all the electrons on flames are raw, meaning they come and go really quick. And that's why when something's burnt, my friend said, you've got to know it does not go back to normal. And that is a hard case in point when it comes to what is beyond repair. Because everyone's burning their body if they are smoking smoke. So just by clicking this, you can bypass entering a pin. And one time there's TV cameras right beyond my shoulder.
Shopping and fire.
Thanks. And one time there's a TV show host with TV cameras over my right shoulder, and they didn't want to talk. So the difference between landscaping and doing carpenter work is making a shelf complete or making a sidewalk gutter clean.